Hello everyone, in this video we will learn about one of GitHub feature, that is GitHub Action. So the idea of GitHub Action is to automate your workflow in your repositories so you can build, test, and deploy your code from the GitHub. You can also make code reviews, branch management, and issue triaging work the way you want. So there's many kind of GitHub events that you can attach your workflow into. For example, push, issue creation, or a new release. And the GitHub action can run in every major OS that are available. And we can also test across multiple OS operating system simultaneously, and it supports any language. The wonderful feature is that you can combine community port workflows, which is all the predefined actions by the community, to your own GitHub actions. And for the pricing, it's totally free for public repositories, and for the private repositories you get free minutes per month, and then you will pay for each additional minutes that you spend on running the GitHub action. So it's a pay as you go pricing. So what GitHub action is an feature to automate, customize, and execute your software development workflows right in your repository with GitHub Actions. So you can discover, create, share action to perform any job you'd like, including CI/CD, and combine action in completely customized workflow. So we will learn simple definition and simple components of the GitHub action. So GitHub action contains one or several jobs, which contains multiple steps. Within each steps there are an action which is actually a command or another actions that you can incorporate to your own GitHub actions. So the workflow is an automated procedure that you add to your repository. So in this video I have made an example on the GitHub action. So if you see, every GitHub action will need to be deployed on the repositories inside the .github/workflows folder. So in this folder, to create a GitHub action, you will need to create a YML files which shows you each step of what you wanted to run in your GitHub actions. So this one file is one workflows, and one repository can contain actually more than one workflow. So you can add many files what you need inside this .github/workflows folder. And then the events. The events is a specific activity that trigger a workflow. So for example, the activity can originate from GitHub when someone push a commit, an issue, or pull request is created, anything. So in my example, I've run this one on push event. So each time a new commit is pushed to the repository, the GitHub action is being run. So there's many things that can be used to run the GitHub action. So it called the webhook events. There's many things such as issues, pull requests, push, release, and so on. you can read it in the GitHub documentations. And then a job is a set of steps that execute in the same manner. So by default, a workflow with multiple jobs will run in parallel, but you can also configure a workflow to run the jobs sequentially. So this job, each of the job will have its own runner and have its own log and results, but when you specify it to run sequentially, the job will wait for another job to finish before running its own. And then the step is an individual task that run commands in a job. So in my example, this jobs is the workflow example, and then the steps are these actions. So we have one job called workflow example, and we have several steps here. The one is the checkout code, which actually uses predefined community actions to check out the repository, and then the second one is action to run to print the hello world to the runner's terminal. So this one is base command, and this one is another action from the other GitHub action repositories. And the runners, we will use the runners that hosted by GitHub here, but actually you can host your own runner, so it will use your own environment for that. However, for the sake of the simplicity, we will use the GitHub hosted runner. So let me explain what's my workflow example here. So on every push, the jobs will run, this workflow will run. So it will run on the Ubuntu latest. So this is the OS, and then the steps will be run sequentially. So the first steps is to check out the code, and then the second part is to print this hello world. So you can see the GitHub Actions log in the action part of the GitHub in your repository. So let's say for this workflow example, we have this succeed workflow. So in this one, so you can see there's many steps that's happening when we do the actions, when we run the action. So the first time we will set up the job which actually handle the runs on, so it will handle the Ubuntu latest thing, and then in the second step we use the checkout code, which is the actual step that I've mentioned earlier. So this will check out the code and then print the hello world to the terminal, to the runner's terminal, and then they have the handle the post checkout code and the complete job, so it indicating the job is completed. So we have the one pull request here that will need to be pushed to the main branch from the GitHub Action branch. So I basically write down the GitHub workflows in the GitHub Action branch, and here let me show you that we can edit this. Actually, when you want to use others actions, predefined action, you have this marketplace in this right section. So for example, we will use the GitHub setup Node.js environment because I use the Node.js in this repository. So simply we can copy this and add this one to the below this, and we will set up the Node.js environment using the action/setup node with the version, and for the width we can specify anything that is possible from the action itself, the shared action itself. So for this one, let's try we use the node version. So we will use node version 14, and then I want to try to run the test code that I have made. So let's say we install dependencies here, dependencies one npm ci, which is shorthand of clean install, and then we will run the test uses the npm test. Okay, alright, so we can start commit here, update workflow to run test code, and then I commit the change. Oh, my bad, I guess it will fail. Let's see the action. Okay, so it fails because I have an error in my YAML syntax. So when the workflow fails, you can have this error in the action log. So yeah, this one indicates the error. So let me fix the code. So I can edit this one, then I should run npm test, start commit, and fix Github action workflow. I commit change. So yeah, this should be right, and we will see in the action. So this yellow dot is indicating that our workflow is currently running, so we can directly lively see whether it works. So the process, so this one print hello world is done, this one set up the Node.js environment is correctly done, and then run the npm clean install, it's okay. But when we run the test, we got this error. So okay, so it's a port undefined. Okay, so let me see here in the pull request, we won't be able to merge this pull request because the check has failed. So we need to actually fix the error to be able to merge this pull request to the master. So that's one thing that we want to handle, the continuous integration, to make sure everything in the main branch is working correctly without any fails. So let me fix the code in this one. Okay, so this one is because I failed the port. And this should handle it. Commit change fix port in index.js. So as we see, we will see that we have another one working. So we can also see this directly. Will this fail? We don't know for it yet, but okay, so we have another fail in the test because okay, so there's an expected and actual result, which is hello world and hello world. So the expected value is hello world with the exclamation mark, but we have hello world without the exclamation mark, so we can handle this by adding this exclamation mark, I guess. Let's edit it in this one. So we have this exclamation mark here, and then we commit the change, fix response value, commit. So we'll have another one working here. Okay, so let's see whether we will fail this one or not. As usual, we will check out the code, print the hello world, set up the Node.js environment, run the test. Okay, so after our fix to the code, the workflows has finished and it's success. So the workflow finished successfully. So when this happens, I guess we can check the pull request here, and then we can see that all the check have passed, and we can merge this pull request to the main branch of the repository. So I will merge this one, and yeah, and by that we will have this GitHub workflows in our main branch. So that's an example of how we handle the action. So all of the code should be inside the .github/workflows with the .yml as its data, as its type. So the file type using the YAML or YML, and then we write this down, we write the jobs, we write the steps for each run and the action for each steps. So it consists of multiple steps here, and then when we push, we will have the action on this step, and this also run on the main, because when the merge request happens, it also push some code in the main branch. Alright, so that's all I have to explain about this example. And also actually you can explore many kind of GitHub action that have been published by the communities in this marketplace, in the GitHub marketplace. So you can basically see any kind of things that might help with your workflows. So you can use it as you want. You can use it to fulfill the needs to your automation workflows, anything. And that's I can say. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.